All right, I think we're live. I hope we're live. If you guys are listening, can you type in the comments like who you are, say hello, make sure we know
Yeah,
who you guys are. Juan says hello. We know Juan. We like Juan. So
yep,
yeah,
we're seeing a few. Yep.
so welcome Juan. I don't Juan. Do you do any cash secured puts or any of the sell side of stuff? I know you've done a lot of day trading things in the past, but I'm just curious about what your experience has been with selling options. There's always a delay when you ask people stuff
Yeah,
with the comments. It's like a 15-second built-in delay. So
that's fine. Anyone else that's joining in, welcome. If you want to just say you're here. There, we got
Andreas,
Andres. Hi,
he
Andres.
says, hey, so you managed to get in on your tablet. So it's good. Let me know if you want to actually join in the conversation. You can come on to ask questions with audio or with your camera on. We don't really care. So sometimes it's nice to get that interaction between, like, you know, instead of just asking. There's a bit of feedback there. I don't know if that's from your mic or something. Stop now. Anyway. Hey, David, how's it going? I think you come to most of these things. Um, Andreas is on his iPad. Cool. So, yeah, if any of you guys want to join in, like actually just come on, just let me know. I'll post the link to come in and join in. And we can have a chat like that as well. I think it's pretty informal today. I think we're just going to kind of have a chat, introduce Lance to some of the people that might be watching that haven't really come across Lance before. So I know some of the guys that were in the navigation room. I posted the link to come and join, find out a bit more about this type of trading, because we're all just crackhead day traders in navigation rooms, buying and selling options and hoping for the best. So I thought it'd be cool to get some of you guys in if you're here. I'm assuming a few of you will be. And then we can like kind of chat about what Lance's strategies have been. Um, Hey, pseudonym.
You pseudonym.
Yeah, how's it going? I'm glad you're here. So yeah, why don't we get started? It's a couple minutes in. Let's
All right.
have uh, let's have Lance. Why don't you just kind of tell us a little bit about what you do for people that are completely new to you? I know there's some of the regulars here, but there'll be some that have no idea who you are yet. So
Yep. Hi, Nate. I'm going to share my screen real quick. So let's go a little bit about myself and a bit about the zero-DTE strategy that I do. And it's, again, pretty informal here. If you have any general questions, let me know. Are you able to see the
oh, I need to hit
right
the add to screen. There we go. Should be coming up. I'm gonna maximize the screen like that so that we can just see the slides. Um,
Does it come up on your end now?
yeah, it's ready to
All right.
go. I think everybody should be able to see your slides.
All right. So yeah, I have questions ready. There'll be a few little breaks on this, and if there's something that I go over people's heads on, feel free to stop me, and I'll teach you exactly what I meant by it. All right.
And WMM, we are recording this. Whenever we do live streams on YouTube, it'll be up on my channel, and I think Lance will probably want to post it on his channel as well at some point. Not sure where you're from, like if you're from the Facebook groups or one of the Discords and navigation or whatnot. Just let me know, and I'll make sure you've got the link still, and make sure everything's working. But it will be up. It'll be up on the channels for as long as we're alive, hopefully.
Sounds good. So just a little bit about myself. Went to University of Pennsylvania. There's me with nice Ben Franklin. Had a little bit more hair back then. right, right after graduating there, I was actually a biology major. Did a lot of physics classes as well. I decided to be a financial advisor. I worked at Ameriprise Financial. They used to be American Express Financial Advisors. I also worked with Thrivent Financial. They were more of like the Lutheran Church and whatnot. So I learned a lot about how to do financial planning. We got our Series 7, recommending individual stocks and mutual funds. But I noticed that in a lot of that, we would just be recommending pretty much the cookie cutter, loaded index funds back in the day. Those American funds and Franklin funds and whatnot that had 5% fees just to start the account, right? So I knew that a lot of what we were teaching wasn't necessarily individualized for people, and it was pretty much trying to get more marketing for more people to get into their program. So I decided to just pretty much almost 180 degree into being a science teacher, because I already had the biology major, and I've been teaching ever since from 2007 to now. So seen a lot of different students, obviously thousands of them, found different teaching methods to try to get my point across in terms of how science works. And we actually started an investing club with a bunch of high school students. We had 12 people last week, and I'm going over some of these basic strategies as well. So definitely like to try to tie it into students and their knowledge to try to understand possible different strategies that they may not be used to. So I am
Yeah.
the runner of Theta Traders. That's with a Z.com. Also do run a YouTube page. If you just YouTube investing teacher, should be the very top link there. And we'll leave links and descriptions on the chat as well on how to get to our YouTube page and whatnot. Okay. Some general goals in life. I want to be able to make some passive income. It's semi-passive. It's not complete set and forget it, but a lot of these you could literally just enter the trade. It takes a minute or two. You could put in your profit taking order, your possible stop orders, and again, 2-3 minutes, you're pretty much done there. I want to be able to teach others how to do the same thing that I do. Again, I'm a teacher by trade, and I like to be able to help out others that are interested in these strategies. And I do give back to the community. We're using operation.hope.org. They help with lower income families that teach us basic financial planning and whatnot.
Good.
That was just a quick link that I get every month for Operation Hope to expand, economic opportunities for people that might need it. So what's my general trading philosophy? And those of you that are currently in Theta Traders pretty much know this stuff already. But any of the newcomers here, we want to find very consistent strategies. My goal is 2% a month on your net liquidating value. So if you're starting with $10,000 one month, you want to get to $10,200 by the end of the month, grow that $10,200 and let it compound at that rate. Now, if you look at the S&P 500 in the very long term, it averages about 10 to 11%. There's obviously big fluctuations. Today we were down almost 3%, right? So trying to find some high probability trades that won't necessarily see these big up and down swivels in your net liquidating value and just consistently earn those 2% a month. Some months you'll get more, some months you get a little less, but we've been averaging about 2.4, 2.5% in the last year and a half or so.
And I think it's worth pointing out that you're doing this when you're working basically full time as a teacher, right? So that's one of the coolest things about this, and these strategies is that you really don't have to be glued to your computer, and he's doing this with a full time job and making all this money on the side, which is awesome.
Yeah, again, and some of our traders that we talk to, they literally just see an alert that I give out, or they ask me, is this particular stock and strike price safe for their risk profile? And then they place a trade. It could take up to 5 minutes, especially when you get good at it. It could even be a few minutes at most.
Yeah,
and that could be enough for a whole month. So
Yeah,
so I found that selling options in general are the best method for these very high probability, pretty consistent incomes. I mean, a lot of people might be buying stock, they hold the stock, and then you're going with the fluctuations of the stock price, right? So here's the 3 general strategies I use, and in Theta Traders, we do implement all 3 of these. We look for cash secured puts. That's essentially selling puts where you're putting up the cash in order to be willing to take 100 shares of stock. And we tend to do this on a bit higher implied volatility positions than what most people recommend. But we look for discrepancies in these option prices. Sometimes it might be as simple as an option's going for $25 premium, but then suddenly it goes up to $30, and there hasn't been dramatic risk differences there. So that could be enough to actually make it a worthwhile risk return trade there. A lot of times we're going to buy to close them once we hit our target percent. So you might be placing a trade on, say, Microsoft that goes a month out, and you don't have to wait the whole month to possibly get those returns that you're looking for. Okay. So that's cash secured puts. We also do credit spreads. It's essentially when you sell a put and then you buy a put at a lower price, and you essentially collect the difference in those premiums that you receive. And these are on stocks, ETFs. We did a few recently on QQQ and IWM, the ETFs. And then we're looking for individual stocks that are very, very far out of the money. And those trades usually earn a little bit more, between 4 to 8%. However, we do stop losses, so you do occasionally get stopped out of them. And again, the goal is at least 2 to 3% a month. Then tying along with credit spreads, we do zero-DTE. That's essentially starting a trade right at market open and then letting it go possibly a few hours. Today we did one that only lasted 25 minutes or so, and it could go up to the end of the trading day. So there's essentially credit spreads on quote unquote steroids, if you will, right? So any general questions so far in the chat about this stuff?
I just posted your track records, so the Google Share documents so that people can look and see the different styles you're doing. So I posted them in chat, just so that people can go through and look and see, like, hey, this is what he's talking about. These are the trades. Because I think one of the best things about what you're doing is you're super transparent. You record everything meticulously, and it's pretty useful for people because some of the responses to this, when you tell people you're winning 90% of the time, is pretty unbelievable, so it's always good to say, here's the trades, go and look at them. So if you look in the chat box, guys, I've put the spreadsheet, you can go and check it out. There's a lot of trades, there's a lot of different tabs along the bottom. I think we're going to focus mainly on the zero-DTE SPY trade tab, so if you switch to that, but you can look at all his other CSPs where he's selling cash secured puts, all documented for you to check out. At your leisure. So
yeah, and I post these alerts. You guys looking at it now have all the trades up until beginning of the year for zero-DTE, and these are logged into the shared spreadsheet every day. Right after I enter the position, I'll put them on there, so anyone that is in Theta Traders could see these happen in real time.
So Mike's just asked a question about the zero-DTE trades. He's saying, how do you avoid the pattern day trade rule if your account is below 25,000?
It's a good question. We don't necessarily avoid it. You get up to 3 day trades a week on it, and you could actually trade the SPY Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and that would use up your 3 trades. Not all the trades would necessarily close out. You could actually let it run until the end of the day, and if it expires worthless, it wouldn't count as one of your day trades. So we don't really see an issue with that unless you are getting in and out numerous times throughout the day. So that is possible to do if you are not in pattern day trader, where you could actually enter trades in at 10 o'clock, 1 o'clock, and so on. But the strategy is very simple that we implement. It's just one time a day.
And this isn't you can't just use a cash account, right? Because you're doing the spreads, right?
Yeah, you have to do spreads. You can't do cash account only. You would need margin approval for it.
Right.
But I actually tested it out with Thinkorswim, and they approved me for margin with $2,000, which is a fairly low amount to be able to do these spreads on.
All right, that's pretty cool.
And you also need to get margin approval, but that was pretty straightforward when you do your option approval levels.
Right. You can also have more than one account, right? You just have 2 accounts.
Yes, exactly. Another way technically around it is you could have multiple accounts that are able to do spreads that are under 25,000, and you could kind of go back and forth between it. Don't necessarily recommend doing that, but it is a possibility if you wanted to do more than the 3 trades a week.
Honestly, you were doing 3 trades a week, though, right? I mean, you've increased that 5, as we're about to talk about. You're doing it every day now, but you could just stick.
Well, we had SPY on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and then just this week they added SPX as a Tuesday, just 0 day expiration. So right now you could actually do 4 days a week. And then I think in about mid-May, they're going to add on the Thursday expiration. So you could theoretically do it 5 days a week. Now, again, I wouldn't want to do that if you're under 25K. You'd want to pick 3 of those 5 days.
Right.
Mike, does that make sense? Just let me know in the chat. So just a general overview on the strategy. First, what a credit spread is. You're essentially going to sell a put lower than the current stock price. So if SPY is at 418, you might be selling a put at, say, 410. We want high probability trades really far out of the money. So you would sell the 410 put, and then you want to buy a put even lower than the 410. It'd be buying a 405 put. So again, if the stock's at 418 and you sell a 410 put, you'll get a decent amount of premium on it. If you buy the 405 put, it'll be even cheaper because especially in one day, it's going to be pretty rare for SPY to move, 15 points in a day. Even in the last few days that are some of the biggest moves in the last few years, it still moves about 8 to 10 points, right? So a lot of the trades we do, we're essentially buying the put that's about a penny, which ends up being $1. And then you're selling puts anywhere from 50, maybe 12 to even $30 for the individual trade. Okay. Now on the put side and the call side is pretty much the exact opposite. If SPY is at 418, we want to sell a call higher than that price, maybe sell the 425 call. But then to limit our risk, we're going to buy a call at maybe 430. Again, the 430 call will be maybe $1 or two. But when you're selling that 425 call, you're getting a much higher premium than that, maybe $15. And then the goal is to be able to keep most of that premium in the end. So the difference in those numbers, difference in your premiums is your profit. Any questions so far on that?
Yeah, so Juan is asking, how do you scan for your setups, or do you trade the same stocks? It's
We do.
basically
Okay, for the zero-DTE, we only do this with SPY. And we're going to add SPX, which is pretty much the same thing. It's just a slightly different leverage amount. For individual longer term trades, that'll be a whole separate avenue how I scan for different positions and whatnot. I do have some YouTube videos on that, but the main focus today is for the SPY.
right. But this is the key slide, though. This is what gets me excited: is 2 to 3% a day with a 90% chance of success over the entire year so far, so 4 months, and
Yeah,
that's result
we're slightly higher now. It's around 93, right? Give or
right.
take.
And this is just one trade in the morning, every morning.
Yep.
Like, so I'll let you explain it a bit more, but it's such a cool way of doing things.
Yep. So if you're a little bit more active, if you don't want to be, if you want to try to possibly eke out a higher return, and this strategy has been the best return we've been getting of all the strategies this year, you could do the zero-DTE credit spread. Can now trade it every day. Not now. We could get the Thursdays in a few weeks, but you could actually trade it on Tuesday too. There's a huge amount of theta decay, as we'll see in the numbers shortly, and typically we'll earn between 2 to 3% a day. If you do a 5 with spread, so if you sell, say, a 415, buy the 410, that's a difference of 5. You would be using $500 in your margin account, but you might be able to receive $15, $20 off that $500 in just one day. And also, it is very easily scalable. If people have larger accounts, you could be doing 10, 20 contracts of these pretty easily.
Yeah,
So,
and don't
yeah.
be put off by the spreads and things. I know a lot of traders out there, including myself, hadn't done any spreads for a long time. Been trading about a decade. I only just started looking at spreads like a year or two ago.
Yeah.
But they're nothing to be frightened of. And Lance is like the perfect person. He'll walk you through every single like leg of the spread and how to do it and everything. So it sounds a little complex, but it really isn't that bad.
Yeah, it's not bad. For those of you that might be from other groups, you probably know about buying options, right? Like buying a call or buying a put. And we're essentially just adding one extra leg to it to take advantage of that theta decay so we get that premium. Okay.
Another question from Shyam. So Shyam, I think, is from the navigation room, which is
Mhm.
awesome. So for zero-DTE, do you look for a delta to trade or the certain premium amount? That's a good question.
Yeah. It's a little bit of both, to be honest. A lot of times we're going to look at those high probability, very low delta trades, typically between 0.05 to 0.08 delta. But we also have to make sure we're getting an adequate amount of premium for that risk. So I wouldn't want to take a 0.05 delta spread if I'm only making, say, $3 or $4 on it, right? So in that case, you might have to go to a slightly higher delta. Um, if you
Right.
go near 0.08 delta, it depends on the VIX. So that was the next thing I was going to mention. Right now, the VIX is your volatility index is very high. It's in the high 20s. So the premiums are higher in general. If it's a much more stable environment and there's no possibility of nuclear war and inflation and Elon Musk buying Twitter, then it's going to be a lot less premium in those cases. So right now we want to take advantage of those higher implied volatilities. but you also want to be safe on the bet. So it is a fine balancing act between both of those things that you mentioned.
Yeah. Sounds good.
All right, so here's a general overview of the strategy, and I'll show what I did for today. And I think we actually want to do some past trades. You can pick a random day and we'll look into it. Before the market opens, I tend to look for trends in individual sectors. So they have the sector funds like SPF, SPX, things like that, financial sectors, banking, and whatnot, energy. And then you also look at the volatility index to see is the VIX increasing or decreasing. I also do look at the futures market overnight to see what was happening, and that was the main reason why today worked well. Because when you looked at yesterday, the market actually closed quite a bit up. So I know one of the members in Theta Traders was thinking about let's do the put side because it went up so much. But the futures were looking like it was going to be a down day today. And that pre-market research was very helpful to get us into that profitable trade today. We do look at some support and resistance points to see when was the last time it might have touched a certain strike, if it was more recent or much more long term. I like much more long term because there's a better chance of it working in our favor. And we got to make sure we enter our trades with a stop loss. One of the biggest issues with this particular trade is if you don't have stop losses in place, you could theoretically lose the full amount of money that you're width of the spread. And I
Right.
definitely teach how to go over how to do stop losses.
And that's everybody's complaint, isn't it, with these types of strategies? It's always the penny steamroller type analogy.
Right.
But the way you're doing it is pretty much that's not going to happen. So
Right. We want to limit our losses, and we'll look at the probabilities and how to make good returns, even with the stop losses. And you'll be pretty amazed by how low of a win rate you actually need to make really good returns on this. So this was the recommendation for today. I post this on our Theta Traders Discord, and you can get it literally right the same minute the market opened. So the recommendation for today, it's an SPX because Tuesday it's trading this one. CCS means a call credit spread. So we're essentially betting much, much higher than the current price that it won't get there. And it was a 43.50 to 43.60 and make at least $35 in premium. I said 35 or more because it was fluctuating between 35 and about 42 or so when I made the trade. And then there's the close stop order. Buy to close at 1.1 if it goes against us and SPX starts shooting up close to our strikes. We want to get out at this particular stop loss. Okay.
right.
And then we also wanted to take profit around $15 if I can early. So we were taking in $35. We might buy it back for $15, which would be a $20 gain.
Yep.
And it happened to happen in 23 minutes.
In 23 minutes. That's awesome.
Yeah. That was a
I
quick
need to start listening to you and getting in on these more. Sounds like a fun 23 minutes. All right.
Yeah. So if you look at the return, we sold it for 35. We bought it back for 13. If you subtract those two numbers, it's what, $22, right?
Yep.
And you made $22 off. This was $1,000 width of the spreads. So it's about 2.2% before commissions in 23 minutes, right?
You were done at market open, done before 9 o'clock by the looks of it. So
Yeah, I know some traders, they wait first hour before they make their trades because they want to see the pattern of the market at the time. But this one, we did it before all that big drop really happened. It dropped a little at the open. We'll see. Here's a chart for today. I entered on the first red bar here, and we closed it at this red bar.
Nice.
Literally 23 minutes later.
Nice.
This was the day before, and it was an up day. I think it was up about 1.5% or so yesterday. And you saw the futures started to drop, and it opened about I think it was 0.7, 0.8% down within the first 5 minutes of the day. But I could tell in the futures beforehand, it was very likely going to be opening lower. So what I did was this green bar right here and the line above it is the call credit spread price, which was quite a bit higher than where the stock price was at the time, right? So you see there's a big cushion here between where the stock is to where it might get to. And we don't want it to get here. We ideally want it to trade either sideways or down. And this doesn't look like a dramatic move. Let's look at I was looking at Tesla earlier. Let's just look at SPX. It was down pretty much the whole day. So here's where we entered. Here's where we're able to close. It just continued to drop pretty much the whole day. And this was one of the lowest days in the last few years in SPY, right? Does that make sense, Russell, or anyone else in the group?
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
Yep. So we were lucky since we did the call side. We were able to close it out so really fast because it wasn't really worth it waiting the rest of the day. There's a chance it could have bounced back up. Like you look at yesterday for SPY and it did hover back up. So it was down in the morning and then ended up. So we don't want to deal with all that extra risk. We got our 2.2% before commissions in 20 minutes. You just go about the rest of your day and not worry about this negative 2.8% loss if you were just holding it, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
All right.
Cool.
All right. So, are there any general questions so far?
I'm not seeing any more. So far, I think everybody's just listening. So.
All right. What I want to do is something a little bit more interactive here. Let's pick a random day of the year, and I'm going to show you a few little things I'd be looking at and how to actually place the trade. So if we could have someone from the chat, just pick a random day this year. I put 401. If no one's talking, we could use that day. Or if anyone in the audience wants to pick a random day, please leave it in the chat.
One is saying great info. Maybe one has a random day that maybe was a crappy day or something. Let's test Lance here and see if we can find out what would have happened or what did happen on that.
Try to stump me. You can pick
Yeah.
any day you want.
All right. One says the third. Well, loads of dates coming in now. Shall we just do them all? So, the 8th of April is one's first one, so he's first
All
in
right.
line.
So what I'm doing here, by the way, any of you guys could do this if you have Thinkorswim. I'll just click the on demand button, and then you could go in the pass and look for trades. Now there's going to be a little delay here to actually enter it in. Right now I'm clicking it and nothing's even coming up. So it does take up a little bit of bandwidth here. I was testing out February 2nd randomly to see what would happen. And I think my Thinkorswim might be frozen. So that's, oh, wait. It's just really slow, especially when I went back a few months. So I'm going to try to go to April.
You're getting inundated with dates, so I hope it's fairly quick to move between the different dates because there's like 5 or 6 or 7 people already posted dates they want to see, including days that did originally go against you.
Day was a random.
You're cutting out a little bit there.
All right, what day was it?
So the first one is March 8th.
Sorry, it's my bandwidth because I'm on demand.
Oh, okay.
March 8th.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to go to March 8th, a little bit before market open. I'll go and say 8:20, 8:25. And you got to be a little patient here because Thinkorswim is now going to what the data showed during March 8th. And this is I wanted to do a little earlier. Sorry. Let's do it. I'll pick another day because I saw the chart. Sorry. Let me do the 7th if you don't mind because I already saw it happen. All right, so we're going to go March 7th before market open. You got to be a little patient.
There we go.
Okay, so this was March 7th at 7. Okay. I'm trying to make sure I have the settings right. All right, so this is the day before on March 7th. I'm going to be trading for March 8th shortly. Okay. It's still at the pre-buffering, so it's still trying to decide what's happening right now. And as you can see, the day before, it was fairly range bound. It went from 43.40 about to 42.80s for the day. This down candle probably would have been shown in the futures before it, so I most likely would have went call credit spread way above that strike. All right, let me move the chart so I'm at a 1 minute chart here. Just give me another few seconds on the settings. Sorry for the delay here because I want to be able to pick the time where I don't know it actually happened yet. So I'm in Central Standard Time. That's why I'm not doing the market open yet. I'll do the next day right before 8:30. Okay. And we'll do SPY instead of SPX just because I'm a little bit more used to it. All right. So this is right before market open on March 8th, right? About 10 minutes before.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know if this can handle the bandwidth with the on demand. You've frozen again. Yeah, Lance, I can't hear a thing. Can you guys in the comments hear anything he's saying, or is it just me?
Again, sorry for the delay here because on demand's a little slow at times. So I'm going to go to the trade tab right now. March 8th happens to be a Tuesday. So let's actually pick the Wednesday. Yeah, sorry I didn't mention that before. We should have picked the Monday, Wednesday, or Friday at the time.
Yeah, I think so. A few people are saying that they couldn't hear you for a while there either, and you seem to
Oh,
freeze. The
sorry.
on demand is really taxing, so it's like
Yeah.
wondering if this it's a good idea, but I'm not sure if it's how well it's going to work. So
Yeah, let me just give it a few more. Let me give it a minute or two. If it doesn't work, then I'll just show a little bit more about the strategy. Sorry. Yeah, on demand is very taxing because it's looking up individual bid and ask prices at any moment in the past. So it takes a little bit of time for it to figure out what those prices were at the time. All right, so it's coming up here. We're right at market open. It opened up at 2% higher the next day. So it's an uptrending market. I'm going to be looking at a put credit spread at this point. And the deltas aren't showing up right now, but I could pretty much guess if we're at 425, I want to be looking around the 415, 414 area. And I know this is a very volatile time in the market as well because right near the beginning of inflationary talks. But anyway, we could sell the 415 put and buy the 410 put for a $19 or $20 credit. So there you could return your 4% in 1 day's time. Okay.
yeah.
Are there any general questions on that so far?
I think the only comment here is you might want to skip over to your spreadsheet results in case there's.
Okay, I'll get there in 1 minute. Let's just see what happened this day. So did it get to 415 by the end of this day? We'll just skip ahead to the end of the day here. It'll go
I
about
love
2.
the idea. It's just the computing issues might lose people's interest rapidly.
Okay. Oh, look, we'll look back, and I'm pretty sure it worked out. All right, you want to go to the spreadsheet? I'll open it up on my end.
Yeah, and I think I pasted it in for people as well. I'll repaste it though in case people haven't seen it yet.
I'm going to close out Thinkorswim because it's using up like 100% of my data. Okay.
Yeah, I love the idea. I just don't think it's going to be practical on a short call like this. So I reposted. Yeah.
All right, so yeah, if you go to open that up, if you look at Russell's chat, he put up the trade log, and you go to the zero-DTE SPY tab on the bottom. This shows from the beginning of the year all the way to today, right? Put the date. I put the strategy. Is it a call credit spread? Is it a iron condor, which is call and put credit spread? And here we had a few put credit spreads, right? You notice the stock price at the time. We write down the strike prices that we're entering the trade. We want to look at our safety, so we look at our delta. The deltas are 0.05, so a 0.07, 0.08 in there. But we want to look at those very low deltas to stay very safe. We also compare the VIX to see how much risk and movement there might be in the stock. This shows the premium that you collected in the trade, and this was the outcomes. You can feel free to backtest it on that on demand if you'd like to, but members that have been on Theta Traders have seen all these work out. So as you can see, we did have one quick loss in the beginning of January, but as you notice, we took in $10. We lost $30. That's only a real loss of $20 for that one particular day. And then we had a pretty good win streak here. It was about 14, 15 wins in a row. We're at a 95% win rate by mid-February. Took a loss here, down to 91%, which is still good. Took another loss here. We went down to 89. That was the lowest of the year so far. Then we had another really big win streak here. A few of these wins means I just let it expire and not having to buy it back. That doesn't use a day trade, by the way, when you see these. For the buy to closes, I say when I buy to close on my end, I also mention for certain particular days, you could let it go the whole day if you don't want to pay these extra buy to close fees. But we had another big run here. I think it was 17 in a row. Had one more loss, and then we're at a 92% win rate so far this year. 44 out of the 48 were winners.
And that's only using like $500, right? But you could scale that as much as you were comfortable with. So
exactly. This was the profit on one contract. I'm just using it as a just test zone buffer. You could easily do this with 10, 20 contracts if you have the funds for it. I just wanted to show the growth rate of $500, and it was negative once in the year. Big run, gaining a lot of money. These do include commissions, by the way. I want to be as transparent as I can, so this would be the actual dollar amounts. You took a loss here, but then that $500 by now is at $818 in not even 4 months. So you almost doubled your money.
Which is ridiculous in this market, especially, and it's fantastic work. So
in this particular day from today, we were able to get a 1.74% gain in 23 days while the market went down 3%. So I literally told my group, I'm like, yeah, I'm done with zero-DTE for today because I'm happy with the profit I got. And I didn't have to really sweat about what's happening with the market throughout the day afterwards.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah, it's a good strategy. I definitely like it a lot. I just wish I could get into it more.
Yeah. In order to implement the strategy, if you're ready and market open within about 10, 15 minutes of it, you just place the order in the recommendation I give, and then you place your stop order. Typically, we usually close around lunchtime. Today was an exception, but lunchtime, you could see what the profit taking is, or you just let it go the whole day. In most cases, you'll be fine. Obviously, you put your stop losses in. This is the eye-opening chart that I actually did the math on to see how much money you can make based on your win rate. So this is the percent that you're winning your trades. If you stop out, we're going to stop out at 3x the premium receipt. So let's say you're taking in $10, but you stop out at $30, you'd be at a $20 loss there. So if you're only right 60% of the time, you're at a negative win rate. Even 65 negative win rate. 70% or so is a slightly positive return overall. Okay. And this involves 150 trades. That's about how many you do of SPY throughout the year.
Right.
What gets eye-opening is when you're hitting the higher than 75%.
Wow, that's a jump, right? From
yeah.
Did I get that right? It went from like 7% to 90. What was that? I saw it.
It went from 8% to 57%,
Just
and
with
just
that.
a 5% higher win rate.
Wow.
And the reason why this happens is obviously you're winning more, but you're losing less of them too. And you also pay a little less in commissions when you have to stop out.
Nice.
So like here's the big jump. 75% is 57% gain on the year. 80% win rate, you're doubling your money in a year. So you have to just be right 4 out of every 5 times. And again, we're going very, very low deltas, very high probability trades here in order to try to get at least that 80% return. And for fun, right now we're at a little over 90%. You're going to more than double your money just based on probabilities if you're getting in and out of the trades like this.
And is that taking five trades a week, or 4 trades, or
This
three?
is this is actually less. I did 150 trades for the year. This was when
Right,
SPY was only 3 days a week.
right. So it's the
So
3 days.
you could actually make these numbers higher if you do trade these every day.
Nice.
And this works for any data. It works for credit spreads too. So if you're doing longer term credit spreads, if you're doing a lot of trades there, you could still get the same percentages.
Nice. Very cool. Yeah, very cool.
All
I
right, any
didn't
other
know.
questions in the chat so far?
Not so far, but if people have got questions, let us know. I didn't know there was such a weird non-linear jump in the percentage and the profits. That's pretty
Oh yeah,
interesting.
yeah, because you're cutting your losses with a higher win rate.
Right. It makes sense. It's just not intuitive. Like you look at it like, oh,
Right.
okay.
Oh, it was pretty eye-opening in my case too. I tell my high school students in the investing club, it's like, all right, if you save X amount of money at this percent, what compound interest will it be? And they're always shocked, like 30 years later, it turns into like millions of dollars, and they thought it'd only be maybe like 20 grand.
Right.
but
Like
but even this surprised me too.
it's like the chessboard, right? You put 1 grain of rice and double it each time.
Yeah,
Each square. It's ridiculous.
the
So
universe, the whole universe. Go ahead.
Carlos is asking, does the system work with interactive brokers? What's the largest drawdown in the past year?
Good questions. It does work with any brokerage that allows credit spreads. So Interactive Brokers works. We have some members that use Interactive Brokers. The biggest drawdown this year was only the third trade that I had. Sorry, the second trade of the year was down. So in the first trade we made $9.70. The second trade we lost 20 plus commissions. We were down. I mean, theoretically, if you do hit quite a few losses in a row, your drawdown could be relatively high. And I do mention that in the strategy ebooks that members get in terms of how much money to leave on the side, how many contracts to implement. I actually helped out a member the other day who was wondering about scaling this up a lot more.
Yeah, because people see this and they want to start putting tens and tens of thousands of dollars in, right? You got
Yeah,
that.
I wouldn't recommend going all in on it. I do recommend a certain amount of cash buffer to leave in case you happen to hit a few losses in a row, so that you could still implement the same number of contracts afterwards.
So that's not all you do in Theta Traders, but that's been a huge thing this year, right? That seems to be something that you're excited about and members are excited about.
Uh-huh.
So I think that's part of the reason we're doing this presentation today.
Right. So for Theta Traders, we do those zero-DTE. Right now, 4 days a week. It's going to be 5 days a week in a few weeks. We also do 2 cash secured put or credit spreads each trading day. So if you don't want to just do zero-DTE, if you want to do more of these longer term, 30, 45 days out options, I give these every day out. So you'll see, is it an iron condor, cash secured put? We give the stock, we give the strike prices to use, a little bit more data about the current price, your deltas, the implied volatility, so you can determine the proper risk profile that you want. Okay. These are given in the Discord. We have a private Discord now. Quite a few members. We're at almost 35, I think, last we checked.
Yeah, it's big enough to have people, but not too big to not be able to give them the individual sort of mentoring that you enjoy doing. So
Yeah, exactly. And we get people in the group asking for help amongst the group. Sometimes we have others help out with questions. I get a lot of one-on-one DMs. Feel free to let me know any of those questions at any time. So we're given where to sell, where to buy to close. These longer term trades you can do anytime during the day. It doesn't have to be when I give the alert. I tend to give alerts between 12 to 1 o'clock Central Standard Time. Here are the zero-DTEs. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday, again, Thursday and Tuesday are coming soon. Around 15 to 30 minutes of the open, you receive the exact strike prices that I'm trading with the zero-DTE. And I'll explain when to buy to close it, when to take profits and whatnot. Okay. Wanted to go over from a few current members on a few things about our Discord and our group here. So Evan MM said one of the reasons I moved mostly to cash secured puts. He likes doing more of the longer term trades. He followed 40 recommendations, had 0 losses, 1 break even, and 1 still open. And we go over strategies even for the open positions, how to make money on the covered call side. This is a new member. He's doing 0-DTE stuff. He says it's a clear way to cap his losses. So he's looking at exactly how much to trade. He could figure out the amount of trades to give. And since I choose deltas very low, deltas, a great way to consistently hit base hits. We're all about hitting a lot of base hits. Some of those baseball teams that don't necessarily hit a bunch of home runs, but they walk and base hit a lot, they could end up winning World Series that way, right?
Yeah. So I'm just answering some questions about how the alerts are received. Danny's asking, is it possible to have trades texted or from the Discord? And I'm just pointing out the Discord, you just set it so your phone will receive notifications exactly the same way as you receive text messages. So a lot of people, I think, get put off with Discord if they don't know how to do that. But, we can help with that type of thing. So there's not much difference in a text message and a Discord notification on your phone.
Right.
So
we have a member that's in his mid 70s, and he wasn't sure at first how to use Discord, but we got him up to par within a few 10 minutes or so.
You wouldn't believe how many people quit Discords I'm co-founders of because they think it's too, like, they have to be glued to it or whatever, and they're like, oh, if you had a text message service, this would be fine. I'd love this. And I'm just sitting there going, it's easy. Just set the notifications on your phone, mute the channels you don't want, set the ones that you do want, and then everything, right, it comes like text messages, but better. So
right. Any other questions?
Husker's answering some of the Discord stuff, which is cool.
Oh, good.
So yeah, but that's about it so far.
All right. A few other testimonials. Glad I joined your group. That not an appropriate word for kids here. Spy just kept marching up all day. So luckily we were able to get out of the trade at a good profit there, but it just kept moving afterwards.
Yeah.
We have Andres, if he's still listening in. So do a great job with deltas, probability of profits on trades. Keep any losing trades very minimal. And more of a set it and forget it type trader, right? A lot of people don't want to babysit a roll 20 times like some other strategies do. For our credit spreads, we either win or we close it out and then we move on.
Yeah.
Right?
This rolling idea, I've never liked the whole rolling idea. It feels like just an excuse to keep putting off the inevitable to me. But I'm not really into the whole wheeling, rolling, and all this stuff. So
yeah, it's as I showed in the percentages before. It's all a probability game. It's okay to have an occasional loss. It's gonna happen. But as long as your win rate's at that 80, 85%, which we've been consistently doing here, you're going to get a good return when it's all said and done. And I was hearing from someone recently that had a PayPal spread at like 200 to 190, and they keep rolling it out. I'm like, PayPal's at 80 now. It's like, get out already. Move on to do another trade, right? All right, so here's just a few other testimonials. Likes the transparency. Thanks for the YouTube video. Really focusing on zero-DTE. Smith does that. Want to let you know, really appreciate the buy to close alerts. So some people may, be working all day and they're not aware of when to buy to close it. So lunchtime, I'm big, hey, check it out. You could get out right now, right? And then also appreciates market and trade analysis, all these comments that I do to make sure that people are ready for it. All right, so Russell, you want to talk a little bit about our special that we're going on
Yeah, so a couple of people were asking, Shyam was asking how to join the group. So the story, Shyam, is, me from the Nav room. I basically co-founded a bunch of Discords like this with only the best people that I could find, Lance being in the top 3 for sure in terms of quality and value. So he has a site called thetatraderz.com. The pricing there is a bit higher though, so I thought for these types of webinars, that's what the usual industry standard seems to be, is do some sort of deal for these types of launches or whatever. So if you look at the link that I posted, thetatraderz.com/ODTE, we basically outlined there what you could do today if you want, and I highly, highly recommend that you pick the lifetime option there. I know that's difficult because you barely know Lance, you barely know me. I hope you know me a bit after the navigation room for the last like a month. But for me, the lifetime comes along with what is really probably absolutely inconceivable by most people in this industry, is that Lance is offered to basically be your one-on-one mentor, including all the Discord stuff, which is ridiculous. I'm trying to get Lance to stop doing this because that's a serious commitment. So if you wanted to do the lifetime option, it's $14.97. Lifetime for all these alerts, all the alerts he does, but also basically on-demand one-on-one Zoom mentoring. So to me, that is worth. People are charging $10,000 and stuff for that. So that could make all the difference if you want to really succeed in this. Lance has been doing this for a decade or so. Certainly investing for longer than that, but this type of shorter term, cash secure puts and things, I would highly encourage you to try out that if you're looking to do something like that. If not, there's an annual option on there, and I can actually pull up so we can talk through some of these a little bit more as well.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you have it handy, or do you want me to do it? Because I need to share my screen.
You can share yours if you want.
All right, I'll try. I don't know what I have. Who knows what's going to come up? Share screen. Okay, let's see what we've got. Can't actually see what I'm looking for. Wasn't anticipating sharing the screen. I'll just share entire screen and then just jump to this really quick before it goes crazy. All right. Do you guys see my screen now?
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah, so this is the landing page. So like we're saying, there's this sale. We're not going to run it just today. We always say that. Today is like, hopefully you guys jump on this. I'll probably send out another email tomorrow as like a follow-up. But basically, the annual subscription to Theta Traders, you don't just get the ODT trades, you get all of his cash secured puts as well, which is 2 trades every day around about market close, basically giving you what he thinks will work well for the following day. So there's like no rush. It's a swing trading strategy for those trades. You can just like sit there and wait for the time decay to put you into the profit after about 2 weeks. So those are my favorite ones. 2 picks every day at the end of the day. You just can log in, see what they are, and place the trade the next morning if you want. So that's part of it. And then the ODTE that we've been talking about today, obviously, is a big feature now as well. So the annual subscription is $4.99. It's you do get a one-on-one Zoom mentoring call with Lance, which is cool. But the lifetime is the one that I'm most excited about. Unlimited one-on-one Zoom mentoring from somebody who knows what they're doing. They have a proven track record. Lance shows his brokerage accounts. This guy is the real deal. Only work with people that are legit and transparent and honest. So that helps.
And if you want, you could open up that track record disclosure that does show all the trades this year. You could open those, and current members get that updated every day.
And so what I like most about Lance is I had no clue about spreads or doing any of this, even selling options. And he basically taught me everything I needed to know to do it. So I was really put off by some of the language, some of the ideas behind it. I basically was a crackhead day trader and swing trader for most of my career. But really, Lance has opened it up. So if you're new and you don't even know what we're talking about in terms of contracts and stuff, Lance will take you from 0 to 100 without much difficulty at all. So
Russell, you're a great student, by the way.
I still need to pay more attention to some of your trades, though. This webinar is helping me to get refocused on perhaps going back to the sell side for a little bit more.
I'll put you and any other members in a tutorial if you'd like.
Yeah. Right. So this is the offer today. I honestly think this one-on-one Zoom mentoring, plus lifetime access to Theta Traders, everything that is and will be. Lance always over delivers, like to the point of ridiculousness. So we're not going to offer this deal like permanently. If you go and look at the Theta Traders website, so if you just go to Theta Traders, you can see kind of like what the normal everyday deal is. So this is the website, thetatraderz.com. We're charging $99 a month as it is, and that doesn't really include like complete mentoring from Lance. So feel free though, if you want to sign up for that, or if you even just want to sign up for the free training that we have going about, that's awesome too. I just don't want this this particular promotion to get past you guys. So I think that's all I have to say. Any other questions? I'm going to go back to looking at at the questions and things. This might get funky as I switch back from.
Oh yeah, you may not share. You may not want to share the screen. There we go.
Right, that's what I removed it. Okay, cool. All right, so people are saying you'll vouch for Lance. That's pretty nice. So I've been part of other investing groups that charge double on it. Yeah, I mean Lance is an absolute abnormality in this business. Like, so I've been either starting alert services, founding them, helping out with them, or being a customer of them for a decade now, and I've never come across somebody like Lance. So I don't like to put other people down, but there's another well-known person in the field who does similar services, and he'll charge $300 a month for this, and give you like zero help essentially. And I like the guy; I'm pretty friendly with him, but comparing him to somebody like Lance is just there's no competition. So that's why I'm so excited to be sort of partnering with Lance on this stuff.
Yeah, and I'm definitely like helping. I teach for a living. I like to teach science, and I like to teach people how to implement these strategies to get their, personal freedom.
David's asking on Webull with a cash account, would I need to convert it to a margin account?
Yes, you would in order to do spreads and cash secured puts. It's a pretty simple process. Webull approved me within like 20 minutes, I think. They're very fast on approvals there. We
Yeah.
could walk through how to answer the questions to apply for option trades. It's very straightforward.
Yeah. Mhm. Yeah, so I hope that gives you guys an insight into what we're doing, or at least Lance is doing, once he talks me back into coming in and doing more of his trades.
Like
um,
your zero-DTE is going, right?
right, yeah, I need to get into that. It's too good to turn down. So, yeah, and I think for people that are in Theta Traders, are we offering the lifetime upgrade with mentoring kind of thing to them, or what was your thoughts on that? Seems like.
Yeah, so we do have a few lifetime members, and as they saw beforehand, one of them saw how diligent I'm working. I don't know if Raj is on here or not, but he was our first lifetime, and we did a free month in the beginning. This was actually pre-Theta Traders, but he took it full advantage of that first month, and he asked me as many questions as you could imagine that first month, and I answered every one of those. And then by then he's like, "Yeah, I'm in for life," and we constantly talk. We even talk now quite a bit. So
It's a difficult balance because you're a busy guy, and
yeah,
you've got one, so we want to provide as much value as possible, but without killing you.
yeah, I know. It's a lot of time in my prep work. Most of my lunches is essentially Theta Traders. Like I'm eating while I'm looking up trades to do, and a lot in the morning before market, obviously. But as a lot of current members could vouch, like I get back to you guys as soon as I can. Obviously there will be some times if I'm doing a chemistry lab or whatever, there might be a little bit of a delay, but many times you'll get your question answered before something dramatic happens in the market, and then you're going to be in a tough situation.
Yeah, so if you guys are not ready to like pull the trigger on an annual subscription or anything, I totally understand. Just visit thetatraders.com, and you can do something on there. You can sign up for the monthly, or even if you just put your email in at the top of the page on thetatraders.com, you can always reach out and say, "Hey, I was on the webinar. If I did a trial or whatever. Is there any chance of getting the lifetime or the annual deal?" And we'll honor that. We're pretty flexible when it comes to stuff like that. You're
Yep.
not gonna.
Also, any current members of Theta, if you're on like the monthly or 3 month, feel free to DM us and we could get you set up on the annual or lifetime.
Pretty good. Any other questions about the strategy? So I think Lance did a good job of covering it, but it's always hard to know like what the audience like level is. Like I know a lot of you guys know what you're talking about, but we've no idea if there's somebody who doesn't even know like how easy it is to sell a put or do a covered call. Again, just reach out. I think we're happy to help
Hmm.
clear up any of those things as well.
We're always here. If you want to leave a link, I don't know if you can or me, for my YouTube page, and you can feel free to look at any of my YouTube videos. So I do a lot of beginner option trading videos as well, and feel free to leave a comment on any of the videos to ask any questions. Russell, do you know where that is, or if I could send it?
I can go to your YouTube and paste it in so that people can follow it. There you go.
I'm gonna send it to your private. I think you could get it from there if you look at the private chat and then paste it.
All right.
It's not letting me comment.
It's okay. I'll find it on YouTube and just paste it in a sec.
Okay.
Investing teacher.
All right, so we'll stick around another minute or two if anyone has any questions. Thanks everybody else for watching and your comments as well.
I'm gonna link you to his channel in 1 second. People are saying thanks, Lance. Thanks for the presentation. Here is Lance's YouTube channel. I'll link to it in the thing. Tim is asking, where are the beginning option trader videos?
I made a playlist on my YouTube for that anyone could watch. It's a new to option playlist. Let me post it. Sorry, I'll put it on the private chat, Russell, if you want to paste it on.
Yeah, I'm actually looking at your playlist as well. So
there's different playlists for different strategies, but if you go to Investing Teacher YouTube page, click on playlists, and then there's a new to options one.
Yeah, so
that goes over the basics on how to set an order, how to look for strike prices, cashier puts, and whatnot.
Yeah, tons of information. It's basically what you do is just churn out tons of educational stuff that people are paying courses for, like $1,000 for a course you're putting out for free.
Yep. If you actually look under the live streams, those are some of those are individual one-on-one help videos that the other person's okay with me sharing it. Some of those were small group with Theta Traders. We meet once or twice a month on Zoom. So if you have any questions there, sometimes we go over some basic strategies and how to implement the trades.
Yeah, fantastic. Any other questions, guys? Just let us know. Reach out via email. Are you going to do a bot? Says Carlos.
I know some traders that are trying to program different bots, but I like the human element in this. I don't mind doing the research on it. Some of the bots are interesting, but I don't know if they'll necessarily be able to see some of that slight artwork you need in these trades. It's not all mechanical science in the end.
Shyam's asking what my email is. Do you want my email or Lance's? I mean, I can CC Lance on it or whatever, but
yeah.
Let me just put mine in stockalertsreviewed.com.
And feel free to email me. It's just my name, Lance Kaminsky, Kaminsky @gmail.
So there's my email, stockalertsreviewed@protonmail.com. That's me. Let's try and do yours as well, Lance. So spell it out again, Lance.
Just my name, Lance Kaminsky.
I have a hard time with your last name. So Kaminsky.
Yep.
Yeah, at Gmail.
At Gmail. No space or any numbers or any of that. Just my name at Gmail.
And Kaminsky is Kaminsky.
Correct.
That's right. Yeah, that's what I thought. All right, so it's coming your way. There we go. Lance Kaminsky at gmail.com. So yeah, so reach out to Lance. You can always talk to me in the navigation room. I can, help with anything like that.
Yeah,
so.
I don't mind helping anybody out if you have any quick questions. So feel free to email the other of us.
Yeah, exactly. Just don't exploit them. We've had people come in and drain you and then leave. So we're gonna avoid that going forward. So
yeah, that's why I think these yearly or lifetimes would be good for everybody.
Well, that's the advantage. It's not like we're trying to do some cash grab. It's like if you're gonna take advantage of Lance's extensive experience and knowledge, he's happy to do it. He just doesn't want to do it for 100% free. He wants to make sure we've got money up front, right? So, his time is valuable, very valuable. And I've always said, with these types of things, including trading and other businesses, investing in getting somebody who knows what the hell they're talking about and has actually done it, 100% certain has done it, is worth 10 times that. It's amazing. I always tell the story about a course for $250 probably 5 years ago, and just from implementing that course, I've probably made $1 million just from that. So that's the kind of payoff you're looking at. At the time, $250 was a hell of a lot of money for me. I never spent $250 on a course that wasn't taught by a university or whatever. It was kind of independent learning. So I'm a huge advocate for finding people that know what they're doing, verifying that you know what they're doing, and then just It always pays off. So.
I'd like to see some members that might be starting with relatively small accounts know the strategies that we implement that consistently works over time, and see them get to their retirements or whatever they want to do in life.
Well, all the traders I come across as well, like Michelle in Sidekick Traders, she invested tens of thousands of dollars in her education, and it shows. She's a consistently profitable 6+ figure trader. But she went all out. She was spending a lot of money on this stuff, and I can tell from people in the navigation room, the ones that spent a lot of money on trading, are the ones that are making a ton of money now. You can just tell from talking to them. So it's always.
Not only am I a teacher, I'm a lifelong learner. I read and I watch a bunch of videos. You can always get better at your craft.
Yeah, you're a pretty critical thinker as well. Like you always laugh at some of the stuff I post. You're like, I don't know about that, Russell. All right, guys. Well, if there's no more questions, we should probably just wrap it up. It's been over an hour. I hope you got something out of it. I hope you guys come and join Theta Traders, and say hello to Lance. And I'm in there sometimes. I monitor it. I don't speak that much.
That's fine.
I'm in and out. So.
All right. Thanks everybody for watching.
All right, guys. Thank you very much. Talk to you guys soon. Cheers.